Subnautica was released quite in fact 10 years ago this year in early access, and with it came another game into its storyline in 2019, Subnautica Below Zero. Now we're just waiting for the third game in the series, Subnautica 3 or 2 because people say Below Zero was supposed to be a DLC, and this is true, but it came out as a separate game. Subnautica Below Zero left us off on a huge cliffhanger, and now we're all anticipating Subnautica 3 as it gets closer and closer to its reveal date. Well, I've got some pretty exciting news for you guys because we have insight on when the game will come out, when its early access will launch, and many more things. So here's all the news that we do have confirmed. So first things first, in early 2023 in February to be specific, we had a new post on Twitter from Unknown Worlds, the publisher of Subnautica, stating, "We are looking for a lead programmer to help the team build the tech-fry next game in the Subnautica universe." And at this time, this was the first news that we actually had for the next Subnautica game. And then they went on posting about other roles that people could apply for. And then that's all we heard for actually quite some time until we had some more news recently. We had insight of 32 new games coming out from Unknown Worlds in between 2024 to 2026, and then there we saw that Subnautica is scheduled to be released around 2025. Now, is this a full release of the game or just the early access version? I'll talk about that in just a little bit, but very recently we had some more news from the official Twitter on Subnautica stating, "Your recent excitement for the next game in the Subnautica universe has been infectious. While we're not quite ready to surface more info, keep watching this space. We'll share more about our early access plans in 2024. And this tweet got a lot of traction with over 1.3 million views. 5 days later, they stated this in another tweet. "Wow, the response to this post has been incredible. And just to be 100% clear, we will be sharing our plans in 2024. Early access itself will need a little bit longer in the fabricator." So with this information, some people are speculating we could see early access later this year, but I don't really think that's the case. Let me explain why. Subnautica was released in early access of 2014 and the full release was many years later in 2018, this being around a 4-year gap. Subnautica Below Zero was a 2-year span from its early access days, being in January of 2019 to its full release in May of 2021. This meaning that the early access dates are getting reduced in time for their full release. But I do not think Subnautica 3 will be only 1 year of early access. People had mixed feelings for Subnautica Below Zero, and the game felt way shorter in my opinion, just with a lot more cutscenes. The reason people disliked the game so much was because you were following the story of Robin, the main character you play as in the game, removing that non-linear story from Subnautica, and you feeling less alone in the Subnautica world when you were talking to your sister or other people. But to be fair, spoiler alert, Below Zero ended with you following Alan to another world, so the story should continue from there, right? Well, that's what I would assume, so we are most likely getting another linear storyline because of that. With all of this aside, I want to take into consideration some features and other things people do want to see in the game. The biggest talk is definitely multiplayer. Subnautica is a single player experience and that's why we need mods to play Subnautica with some friends. The game was not balanced to be multiplayer, and I do not really want to see Subnautica 3 have multiplayer unless we have a whole different experience. I want the game to be a single player to have the alone feeling experience, as it would take a lot of the horror aspect out of the game if you played with a friend, as one person could distract a Leviathan and you keep moving on and it would be way easier than a solo player. As of now, Subnautica is out on all platforms including the Switch, but I want to take a look at some of these applications as stated in here. Experience shipping multiple titles across the various platforms, PC, console, mobile, and VR. There is a mobile mention, but I don't really think this will happen, but it should come out on all other platforms. Graphic-wise, we should see a huge improvement, as with Unreal Engine 5 we have Nanite and Lumen. This is to further enhance lighting and many more things, so we could see more variation with lighting in the game, further emphasizing on the horror aspect of this game. As the deeper you go, you can see less light in some of the areas, and even have better foliage, flora, and fauna. I don't really have any more news for you guys, but I'll be sure to keep you updated if any news come out, so if you like this video, like and sub, and I'll see you guys in another video. Peace out.